The final stretch to finding me would be allowing that 8-year-old girl in, actively inviting her into every moment of my current existence to experience the joy she so longed for, letting her taste what it means to feel truly alive. The destination is finding a home for her, a place of peace where the past does not envelop the Viola of now, where I have ownership of my story. I want to preface this video by saying that I wasn't one to take inner child work that seriously until relatively recently, and I'm very glad that I did. The example I'm going to give right now is the first time I realized that, oh, I have to take this seriously, and so much of why I do what I do is because of my inner child. And everybody was right, sorry. So when I was younger, whenever I had an issue with somebody, whether it be a kid on the playground or a racist teacher that I knew was racist, I didn't know what racism was, but I knew that she didn't like me for no reason, or I don't know, a friend, anybody, if I brought it up to my parents, who I'm not here, I love my parents, they did a great job. But anytime I brought it up, they would always ask me like, what did you do? Because this wouldn't have happened if you didn't do something, right? Like I had to have done something. So I took that into my adulthood, like, okay, if I have an issue with somebody, I caused it. Like I'm the problem, I'm wrong. I have to be, because this wouldn't have happened if I didn't do something wrong. I have gone through my life thinking if there is a problem, it's because of me. Like other people are never wrong. I'm the wrong one. And I think the moment I realized that that's not true, a lot of times I am wrong quite a bit, but not always, and that's not the default. I was like, oh, why do I think this? Where did I get this belief? So I was like, okay, this is serious stuff. This is serious business. I keep filming when I'm the most delusional and jet lagged and tired. Also, I started this video in Minneapolis and then went to LA, and now we're in Sharjah. Naturally, I suppose it's on brand. I want to read some bits from Viola Davis's book, Finding Me. I read it when it first came out, but what I'm going to read now is kind of what stuck with me and kind of summarizes my takeaways from the book that I think might be interesting for you guys to hear. For context, she's talking about a conversation that she had where she was reflecting on this core memory of these boys really horribly bullying her in school, and kind of how that stuck with her. Memories are immortal. They're deathless and precise. They have the power of giving you joy and perspective in hard times, or they can strangle you, define you in a way that's based more in other people's tucked up perceptions than truth. There's kids playing outside, but we're gonna allow it. There I was, a working actress with steady gigs, Broadway credits, multiple industry awards, and a reputation of bringing professionalism and excellence to any project. Yet, sitting there conversing with Will, I was still that little terrified 3rd grade black girl. And though I was many years and many miles away from Central Falls, Rhode Island, I had never stopped running. My feet just stopped moving. I had all the brawn in the world, but hadn't mastered the courage part. This is the core memory that defined me. More than the bedwetting, poverty, hunger, sexual abuse, and domestic violence. It is a powerful memory because it was the first time my spirit and heart were broken. I defined myself by the fear and rage of those boys. I felt ugly. I felt unwanted, even by God. I wanted so badly to fit into this world, but instead, I was being spit out like vomit. Who I was offended them. The memory borrowed itself inside me and metastasized. It didn't help that I was running back to a home where there was no protection, a home that seemed to cement all the horrible things those boys said about me. At the age of 28, I woke up to the burning fact that my journey and everything I was doing with my life was about healing that 8-year-old girl. I wanted to go back and scream to the 8-year-old me, stop running. I wanted to heal her damage, her isolation. That is, until a therapist a few years ago asked me, why are you trying to heal her? I think she was pretty tough. She survived. He leaned forward as if to tell me the biggest secret or to solve the biggest obstacle of my existence. Can you hug her? Can you let her hug you? He asked. Can you let her be excited about the 53-year-old she is going to become? Can you allow her to squeal with delight at that? I love that. I thought it was profound and graceful and kind of a summary of how I feel in fewer words. I've also accepted that it's more about freeing her than saving her, because if anything, she's the one who will save you if you allow her, but you can't heal or channel your inner child if you don't know her, if you don't let yourself be a little cringe, uncomfortable, romantic, hopeful, And one thing I've been trying to implement for my inner child is solo dates at least once a week ever since I read The Artist's Way, which highly recommend. The author refers to them as artist dates, but to me they're the same thing. Once a week on your own, doing something creative, something you love or used to love, something you enjoy but aren't good at or forgot how to do, something that costs nothing, as long as it is completely on your own, getting reacquainted with your inner child, your creativity, your curiosity. For some reason, I thought I'd be able to vlog this day, which breaks the only rule, and it's probably why I couldn't do it. But I was feeling a little sad this day, and I wasn't sure why, so I figured it was a solo date day. And it was special because I was back in Minneapolis doing the exact things I always did and loved. Real thrifting, going through everything one by one, going to the art museum and only seeing the exhibits I want to see without pretending to care about, certain modern art, and getting a coffee and rereading a book I loved in the park. And I think being adamant about weekly or even bi-weekly solo dates, if that's all you have time for, is really helpful to keep in touch with yourself and your inner child, because just like any other relationship, it requires time, quality time to heal and build trust. I love keeping childhood and baby photos close because I'm very visual, and if something isn't in front of me, then it's easy for me to forget, like truly out of sight, out of mind. But I think when you see a baby photo of yourself, it's so much easier to be kinder to yourself, because look at her and imagine someone being mean to her, especially yourself. Imagine how proud she would be of you right now. Remember every hardship she's gotten past, her hopes, her dreams. Remember that she's you. And if it means making a childhood photo your phone or laptop background, do it. Print it out and stick it to your mirror like a 90s rom-com movie. Look at her smile. Look at your smile. It's the same. I remember, I think years ago at this point, my friends and I were at dinner and we all made our Instagram profile photos, baby pics. And it was just to laugh. At the time, it was fun, but I haven't changed it in years because I'm like, anyone who leaves me a comment or a message is just bullying a baby. That's kind of insane, and I don't think I will change it anytime soon. I was back in my parents' house for Ramadan and I was going through scrapbooks, and I found this letter that I wrote when I was 15 years old to my 30-year-old self, which is not a few years away. It's not too far. It's not too far away. And I have to read some bits from it, and I'm gonna try not to cringe because this was a literal 15-year-old who wrote this. I would never look at a 15-year-old right now and cringe at anything they did. There's nothing a 15-year-old could do right now that I could be like, that's embarrassing. You're literally 15 years old, It's titled 15 Years From Now. The way I wrote was so funny. Okay, this one Where do I see myself at age 30? Good question. I have absolutely no idea. I know the type of person I want to be, but my occupation and family still lies ahead of me. College is something that is a must for me, but the question is, what do I major in? The world of interior design and preschool education are the two things that interest me. Although they are completely opposite from one another, they catch both sides of my personality. Art has always been something I'm naturally good at. Oh my gosh, not cringing. However, over the years, my interest in painting, drawing, sculpture, etc. has changed. That's why interior design is perfect for me. It interests me because it's a way for me to express myself and show who I am through the design of a room. I've always loved children. That's why preschool education is something that catches my attention. Working with young ones and watching them grow is something that amazes me. Having the responsibility to make sure kids know the basics of everything is something I would love to do. Teaching kindergarten is also something that would be an amazing opportunity. I'm glad that I've gotten past amazing, because I've used it 100 times. By 30, shocking, I would like to be married and have 2 kids. I already have a name picked out, Sophia, which I still like Sophia. More importantly, before I have kids, I would like to travel to Europe. I would love to spend a couple weeks in France. It's okay, I didn't know, I was just a kid. All this is simply a prediction. I honestly have no idea what's in store for me in the future. One thing that I know for a fact, I will make something of myself and get far in life. I feel like I'm still the same. I am still the 15-year-old girl. I still want a lot of those things, perhaps just in different ways. But I think the hopefulness is still a big part of me. But I want to go back to, when I first started taking inner child work seriously. Because up until then, I didn't believe this, but for some reason I put it in the same category as horoscopes, or when someone would tell me that the universe would heal you. And I'm just I didn't believe that. I knew it wasn't the same. I knew it, but I don't know why I'm like this. But I was like, okay, what else do I believe that I may not have decided to believe or I had to believe? Also, I'm using a lot of I and me, not to make this entire video is about me. I would hope that it's obvious, but it's in hopes that it would inspire a thought of your own childhood. And also, I think for me, it's really, really comforting to know that a lot of my experiences, a lot of how I feel, none of it's necessarily special. Like, you know, there's not a thought that I've had that someone else hasn't had. There's not an experience, like a feeling. There's no feeling that I've had that nobody else has experienced. And it's really comforting. So that's why I use I and me. But I feel like I keep saying against my will, people being like, you have to use you, don't use I, because people only care about themselves. They don't care about you, which I guess is true. But I'm like, I don't know your life. I can't tell you what to do. I am not qualified to do that. I feel like a lot of my, I guess, childhood beliefs today have manifested in my habits, like overcompensating, trying to make sure that, you know, nobody feels left out because I know what that feels like. Therefore, I am responsible for making sure nobody else feels that way. Or hyper independence, because for some reason I thought that if I needed something, the respectable thing to do would be to figure it out myself. Never wanting to be a burden on anybody, even though those are the same people that would never burden me. I think similar to earlier, being ignored a lot in childhood, I felt like it was more comfortable or safer to shut my mouth than to speak up and be misunderstood or not heard or just ignored, which has also kind of been a blessing, but we'll get into that in a second. I don't think that it's helpful to dwell on things that don't make us feel great or accept insecurities without also accepting, you know, and remembering and loving the courageous and playful and innocent and fun and inspiring parts of ourselves and our inner child. So, since this video is entirely about me, I loved that I always thought I could do anything, just off vibes. And I always wanted to try everything, which has manifested in quite obvious ways today. I never cared about I never even entertained the idea of being a perfectionist. I didn't care. I was just having fun. Like, I didn't think I was the best or care to be the best, but at the same time, I didn't think that people were inherently better than me. I thought they could be, you know, more talented or more dedicated, maybe a little bit smarter, more privileged, but I didn't think that that made anybody inherently better than me. And that's something that I wish that I held on to tighter, but alhamdulillah. What else? I loved my taste. I trusted my taste. It didn't matter if anybody didn't like something. If I liked it, that was it. You know, I didn't think anything was end all be all except for my taste. I guess in the spirit of not being a perfectionist, I'm just gonna end the video here. Thank you for watching.